Find restaurants that keep breaking the rules and could make you sick.
Nobody organized this. No celebrity showed up with a megaphone. No politician called a press conference. Millions of ordinary people simply stopped going. No announcement, no goodbye. They just stopped feeding the machine. 12 restaurants. Right now, every single one of them is watching traffic numbers collapse in ways their executives cannot explain in public without admitting what they did in private. Sit with every single number on this list. The pattern doesn't show up until you've seen all 12. These companies built their business model on you never asking the second question. Today, we're asking it. 12. Red Lobster. Red Lobster did not go bankrupt because of shrimp. Red Lobster went bankrupt because the private equity firm that owned it, Thai Union, decided to prove a theory about endless shrimp and ran the math wrong by approximately $11 million in a single promotional quarter. Here's what actually happened. Thai Union, a seafood supplier, bought Red Lobster in 2020. Then they used Red Lobster as a customer for their own seafood. The restaurant became a captive buyer for the company that owned it. When Red Lobster ran the Ultimate Endless Shrimp promotion as a permanent menu item in 2023, it lost $11 million in 3 months. Chapter 11 followed in May 2024. The customers had been writing the ending for 2 years. On Reddit, Yelp, and food blogs from 2022 through 2024, the same scene kept showing up. Cheddar Bay biscuits arriving cold, shrimp that had clearly been sitting. Servers stretched so thin they couldn't get back to the table before the ice melted. One regular wrote it like this: 23 years of anniversary dinners at Red Lobster. The last one, the biscuits came from a bag, and the lobster bisque tasted like the bag it came in. The chain that built its identity around affordable seafood celebration became unaffordable and stopped celebrating the customer at the same time. Thai Union stripped the supply chain, loaded the balance sheet with debt, and left when the math stopped working. 99 locations closed in the bankruptcy. The buildings are still there in strip malls across America. The regulars left first. The shrimp wasn't the only thing endless at Red Lobster. So was the debt. And while Red Lobster was drowning in its own supply chain, the next chain on this list was busy killing the one reason people leave the house in the first place. Member Inspire Brands. They're going to come up again. 11. Buffalo Wild Wings. The story of Buffalo Wild Wings is the story of a sports bar that forgot what sports bars sell. They don't sell wings. They sell the feeling of watching a game somewhere worth leaving your couch for. Buffalo Wild Wings stopped being worth leaving the couch for around 2019 and never recovered. Inspire Brands acquired the chain and applied the same formula they apply to every acquisition. Cut costs, raise prices, reduce staff, call it operational efficiency. By 2024, the average ticket at Buffalo Wild Wings had crossed $18 per person. The wings and regulars had been tracking these on price comparison threads since 2021. We're up more than 60% from 2019. Customers documented the decline on every platform that would listen. The sauces got thinner, traditional wings got smaller, and the boneless wings, which are not wings, got pushed harder because they're cheaper to produce. One customer in Columbus wrote this: "I have been coming here for every Bengals game for 9 years. Last season, $72 for 2 people, 4 orders of wings, and 2 beers. The wings were the size of my thumb. I watched the game at home in January. I have not been back. The staff shortages weren't accidents. They were budgeted. On worker forums, the story was always the same. One server running a section built for 3. Kitchen tickets backed up 40 minutes on a Sunday because the fryer staff had been cut to save labor on a game day. The restaurant built for game day stopped being able to handle game day. Then it acted surprised when the regulars stayed home. Same-store sales fell across 2024. Inspire Brands has never taken Buffalo Wild Wings public, which means the full financial picture is controlled by the people who benefit from not showing it to you. The customers already wrote the review. The doors are still open. The regulars are still gone. The regulars at B-Dubs traded their bar stools for couches. They aren't the only ones. The next chain calls itself a neighborhood grill. Wait until you see what they did to the deal that kept their lights on. 10. Applebee's. Dine Brands, the parent company of Applebee's, had a chief executive named John Payton who described the chain's target customer as someone who is not looking for fine dining but wants to feel special. The customers who used to show up 3 times a month apparently didn't feel special enough. Same-store sales declined for 6 consecutive quarters through 2024 and into 2025. The menu shrank. The portions followed. The prices did not get the memo. By early 2024, the 2 for $20 deal, Applebee's signature value proposition, the reason the parking lot used to fill on a Tuesday, had quietly become a 2 for $25 at most locations, a 25% price hike on the item that was supposed to be the reason you chose Applebee's over cooking at home. On Trustpilot and the Facebook groups where Applebee's regulars actually congregate, and they do congregate, there are hundreds of thousands of them. The 2024 complaints read like a transcript of someone watching something they loved fall apart in slow motion. The riblets are smaller. The chicken is rubbery. The boneless wings are clearly the same boneless wings as Buffalo Wild Wings and Sonic. And they are. They come from the same Tyson supplier. Everyone figured it out. One woman from Tulsa wrote, "My mother and I have eaten at Applebee's every Sunday after church for 11 years. We went last month, the mozzarella sticks came out cold, the server apologized and said the kitchen was understaffed, and the bill was $47. We went to Chili's. I am not coming back." Dine Brands closed more than 35 Applebee's locations in 2024. Peyton stepped down. The new leadership announced a back-to-basics strategy. That strategy requires customers to believe they mean it this time. The Sunday regulars are not yet convinced. The next chain is a 24-hour icon that decided the 24-hour part was optional. America's favorite fallback is now a ghost town by 3 a.m. 9. Denny's. Denny's has been theoretically dying for 20 years and kept finding new ways to postpone the inevitable. In 2024, it ran out of postponements. The chain closed 150 locations across 2023 and 2024, the largest two-year closure run in its history. The chief executive, Kelly Valid, framed this as portfolio optimization. The customers framed it as the place their father used to take them for a grand slam no longer existing. The problem Denny's has is structural in a way a rebrand can't fix. The 24-hour diner depends on late-night traffic, the post-bar crowd, the overnight shift workers, the insomniacs. Denny's responded to rising labor costs by cutting overnight hours at hundreds of locations. A 24-hour diner that isn't open at 3 a.m. is just a diner that isn't particularly good at lunch. The customers who had treated Denny's as their reliable fallback started finding the fallback closed, or understaffed, or running a menu reduced to cut food costs while raising prices on what was left. One truck driver who had eaten at Denny's on overnight routes for 14 years wrote on a trucker forum, "3 of my regular stops closed. 2 more cut overnight hours. The one that stayed open charged me $16 for a grand slam that used to be $8. I make my own eggs now." The chain that lost its overnight identity lost its overnight customers. Those customers didn't wait for it to come back. They built new habits around diners that stayed open. Greasy spoons with honest prices. Gas stations with microwave burritos that at least admitted what they were. Denny's lost the night and never found a way to replace it with something the daytime customer wants badly enough to choose Denny's over a dozen cheaper, faster alternatives. When the sun goes down, Denny's disappears. When it comes back up, the next chain is failing a different kind of math test. They tried to convince America they were a burger joint. The real lie is what they're charging you for breakfast. 8. IHOP. IHOP and Denny's share the same problem and orbit the same parent company. Dine Brands owns IHOP too. Same financial pressure. Same tendency to apply the same solutions that aren't actually solving the problem. IHOP ran a campaign in 2018 where they temporarily rebranded to IHOP, International House of Burgers, to promote their burger menu. The internet mocked it. The burgers weren't good. IHOP went back to being IHOP, and everyone agreed to forget it happened. The problem is, the underlying logic never went away. The company keeps trying to be something it's not because what it actually is, a pancake restaurant, has structural limitations they're trying to engineer around instead of lean into. By 2024, IHOP's same-store sales had declined for multiple consecutive quarters. Menu prices were significantly higher than 2021 levels. A full breakfast for 2 that ran $22 in 2019 was running close to $40 by 2024. The pancakes, which should be the one thing an International House of Pancakes has locked down, were drawing complaints about inconsistency and portion reduction that filled pages on Yelp. One customer from Phoenix wrote something that landed differently than a typical review. "I brought my daughter for her birthday pancake breakfast the way my mother brought me. The pancakes came out smaller than I remembered. The butter was rationed to one single-serve container, and when I asked for more, the server said they would have to charge me for butter at IHOP. We are not going back for butter at IHOP." The chain that built itself on being where families go for breakfast has made the family breakfast feel like a transaction. families noticed. They went to local diners where the butter comes with the pancakes. The International House is charging for butter. At least the butter's real. That's a luxury the next chain can no longer claim. From a tuna lawsuit to bread that legally isn't bread, this global giant is being eaten alive by its own franchisees. 7. Subway. Stop here. Because the Subway story is not what you think it is. Subway is not a chain in obvious decline. Subway is the largest restaurant chain in the world by location count. More than 37,000 stores globally. Subway is everywhere. And that is almost exactly the problem. A federal lawsuit filed in 2021 alleged that Subway's tuna contained no detectable tuna DNA. Subway denied it. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed. But not before millions of customers read the headline and looked at their tuna sandwich differently. Then came the bread ruling. The Irish Supreme Court ruled in 2020 that Subway bread contains so much sugar, it legally cannot be classified as bread under Irish tax law. That ruling traveled across the internet in a way Subway's marketing budget never anticipated. Then in 2024, one of the largest Subway franchisee groups in America filed for bankruptcy and named the company's business model as a contributing factor. When your own franchisees, the people who paid to put your sign on their building, are filing Chapter 11 and naming your model as the reason, that is not a PR problem. That's the people closest to the machine telling you the machine is broken. The customer reviews from 2023 and 2024 read like a catalog of small disappointments compounding into a final decision. Bread stale by afternoon, vegetables that had been out since morning, tuna, whatever it actually is, pushed to the back of the tray. One customer wrote, "I have eaten at Subway probably 400 times in my life. I genuinely cannot tell you the last time I actually enjoyed it. I keep going out of habit. I went to Jersey Mike's last week. I am not going back. Habit. That's the only thing keeping millions of Subway customers walking through that door. Habit is not loyalty. When habit breaks, it breaks completely. And Subway gave people reasons to break it every single week. The bread lawsuit, the tuna lawsuit, the franchisee bankruptcies, the slow creep of prices on a product that was never supposed to cost this much. Every one of those stories is a reason to try Jersey Mike's. Once you try Jersey Mike's, you don't come back. Subway's franchisees know this. That's why they're the ones filing the paperwork. Look at what's actually on this list so far. Red Lobster, owned by Thai Union, stripped and bankrupted. Buffalo Wild Wings, owned by Inspire Brands. Applebee's and IHOP, both owned by Dine Brands. We're 6 chains in, 3 corporate owners, and we still have 6 chains to go. This is not a bad season for casual dining. This is a pattern. The same playbook running through different parent companies and different brands and different menus, all converging on the same outcome. The customers feel it before they can name it. By the time the bankruptcy paperwork lands, they've been gone for 2 years. If you've made it this far, you already know this list isn't about wings or pancakes or sandwiches. It's about who's behind the counter and what they answered to. Subscribe. We do this every week. The list never gets shorter. 6. Popeyes. Here's what nobody is saying about Popeyes out loud. The chicken sandwich that broke the internet in 2019, the sandwich that caused traffic jams in drive-through lanes, the sandwich that sold out nationwide in 2 weeks, the sandwich that restarted the entire fast food chicken war. That sandwich is still on the menu. And the people who stood in those lines in 2019 have largely stopped coming back for it. Restaurant Brands International, the parent company that owns Popeyes, alongside Burger King and Tim Hortons, posted declining same-store sales at Popeyes through much of 2024. The chain that had the most talked-about product launch in fast food history could not convert the attention into sustained loyalty. The experience around the sandwich did not match the sandwich. Customer reviews from 2023 and 2024 described drive-through wait times of 20 to 35 minutes as routine. Orders wrong. Chicken not fresh. Sides cold by the time the main arrived. One customer in Atlanta wrote, "The chicken sandwich is genuinely great when it is fresh. I have gotten it fresh maybe twice in the last 15 orders. The rest of the time it tastes like it has been sitting under a heat lamp since lunch, and I am ordering at dinner. I started going to Raising Cane's. At least I know what I am getting." Restaurant Brands responded by announcing store renovations and technology upgrades. The customers aren't waiting for the renovation. They're already at Raising Cane's and Chick-fil-A, places that figured out consistency before the investors started asking about it. The chicken sandwich war of 2019 was won by Popeyes on day 1 and surrendered every day after through pure operational indifference. You can have the best product in the category and still lose the customer if it arrives wrong every time. Popeyes proved it. A great sandwich can't save a broken kitchen. Remember Restaurant Brands International? They're going to come up again in the next entry. 5. Burger King. Burger King has been trying to out McDonald's for 60 years and failing for 60 years. The strategy has never changed. In 2024, the strategy failed in new and creative ways. While costing shareholders money they will not recover easily. Restaurant Brands International, yes, the same Restaurant Brands International that owns Popeyes, reported multiple quarters of negative Burger King same-store sales in the United States through 2024. The chain's response was a multi-hundred-million-dollar Reclaim the Flame initiative, a franchisee support and store renovation program that's been running since 2022, with results that haven't matched the investment. The Whopper, which is the product Burger King should be able to make better than anyone on earth, became the subject of a class action lawsuit in 2022, alleging that the advertised Whopper bore no resemblance to the served Whopper. The case was dismissed on procedural grounds in 2024. Burger King ran ads admitting their food photos were unrealistic. Customers appreciated the honesty. Then they went to McDonald's anyway. One customer captured something true in a 2024 review. "I want to like Burger King. I genuinely prefer the Whopper to the Big Mac when it is made right. It is almost never made right. The bun is wrong, the ratio is off, the tomato is missing, something is always wrong. I know what a good Whopper tastes like. I have not had one in 3 years. I stopped trying." A chain that can't reliably execute its signature product has no floor beneath it. Burger King knows this. The renovation program is the admission. The customers aren't waiting for the new tiles. The king is admitting his faults. The next chain on this list isn't admitting anything yet. They're shrinking the plate while you're holding the fork. 4. Olive Garden. Olive Garden should not be on this list. Compared to almost every chain you've heard about so far, Olive Garden is doing relatively fine. Same-store sales have been more resilient than the competition. The breadsticks still arrive. The soup is still unlimited. And yet, something happened at Olive Garden in 2024 that the regulars noticed and the financial press has mostly ignored, because the numbers haven't fully caught up to the behavior yet. The Tour of Italy. The combination plate that's been on the Olive Garden menu since before most of its current customers were born, quietly received a portion adjustment. The chicken parmigiana that anchors the dish got smaller. The fettuccine alfredo portion was reduced. The lasagna slice, the lasagna that comes from Olive Garden's own recipe distributed to every location, got thinner. Darden Restaurants, Olive Garden's parent company, calls this right-sizing. The customers who've been ordering the Tour of Italy since 1997 call it something else. On Reddit and the Facebook groups where Olive Garden fans are genuinely passionate and organized in ways that would surprise you, the posts from late 2024 carried an early warning tone, the kind of tone that preceded the customer departures at every chain above them on this list. It's not outrage yet, it's the disappointed noticing. One regular wrote, "I have eaten the Tour of Italy at least twice a year for 19 years. The last 2 times, something was different. The chicken was smaller. I did not say anything, but I noticed. I will be watching. The customers are watching. The numbers haven't broken yet. The watching is the warning. The next chain is past the warning. It crossed into something else in October 2024, and one person didn't survive it." 3. McDonald's. McDonald's made the news in October 2024 for something that had nothing to do with food quality or portion sizes or private equity. A customer who ate a quarter pounder in Colorado became one of dozens of confirmed E. coli cases linked to the chain's slivered onion supplier. One person died. McDonald's pulled the quarter pounder from menus across 10 states immediately. The supplier was identified. The onions were recalled. By standard crisis management metrics, McDonald's responded quickly. By the metric that actually matters, did the customers come back the same way they were coming before? The answer is still being written. The E. coli outbreak landed on top of something that had been building for 2 years, the value crisis. By 2024, a Big Mac meal in most American markets had crossed $10 and was approaching $13 in high-cost locations. McDonald's, whose entire brand promise for 60 years has been the reliable cheap meal, was no longer reliably cheap. The customer who turned to McDonald's when the budget was tight was now doing the math and finding that a grocery store run was cheaper than a drive-thru. McDonald's fourth quarter 2024 same-store sales fell for the first time in years. the company announced a return to value with a $5 meal deal that briefly drove traffic. When the promotion ended, the traffic softened again. One customer from Dallas put it plainly, "McDonald's used to be the place you went when you did not want to spend money. Now I spend $14 and feel bad about it. Both things at once. I feel bad about the money and I feel bad about eating it. That combination does not bring me back." That combination. That's the real headline. McDonald's has the scale and the brand depth to recover. They've recovered from everything before. The question is whether the price psychology has been permanently broken for a generation of customers who are currently discovering that cooking at home is cheaper. Cheaper was the whole reason they were there. McDonald's broke the price barrier and the trust barrier in the same year. While they're bleeding, the next chain is throwing a party. That's exactly why it belongs where it does on this list. 2. Chili's. Wait, Chili's isn't failing. Chili's is winning. That's exactly why it belongs at number 2. Chili's same-store sales grew more than 14% in fiscal year 2024. The chain everyone had written off as a mid-tier, forgettable casual dining relic became the most talked-about restaurant turnaround story in the industry. The Triple Dipper went viral on TikTok. The Big Smasher burger was explicitly positioned as a McDonald's alternative at a competitive price. Customers came back in numbers that surprised everyone, including Brinker International, the parent company. So why is Chili's on a list about boycotts and customer backlash? Because the customers who drove that traffic surge are already starting to report the thing that killed every chain above them on this list. The thing that always starts small. On Reddit and TikTok food review channels in late 2024 and into 2025, the same early signals are appearing. Wait time's up. Triple Dippers arriving incomplete. The bone-in wings, which became a centerpiece of the viral moment, drawing complaints about inconsistency. One customer who made Chili's the subject of a glowing TikTok in March 2024 posted a follow-up in November, went back for the 5th time. Something has changed. The chicken was clearly not fresh. The server was running 4 sections alone. The Triple Dipper took 45 minutes. I did not post this one. She didn't post it. That's how it always starts. Chili's is being watched right now the way a stock gets watched, when it has risen fast and the fundamentals haven't fully caught up to the valuation. The customers who came back because of value and consistency will leave the moment the value wavers and the consistency breaks. Brinker International knows what's sitting at the top of this list. The question is whether they learn from it before they repeat it. The next chain didn't learn. It's also the chain that wrote the template for every failure you just heard about. You heard the headline already. You haven't heard what it actually means. 1. TGI Fridays. Again, you heard the first TGI Fridays story already. 600 restaurants down to 79. Chapter 11. Triartisan Capital Advisors. A chain stripped for parts. Here's the part nobody has said yet. TGI Fridays did not fail because of the pandemic. TGI Fridays did not fail because casual dining is dying. TGI Fridays failed because it was used as a financial instrument by people who had no attachment to what it was and no accountability to the customers who did. The original TGI Fridays, the one founded in 1965 on 63rd Street in Manhattan, the one that invented the singles bar, the one that put potato skins and loaded nachos on the American menu, the one that trained more American bartenders and servers than any culinary institution in the country. That restaurant was genuinely beloved by the people who built it and the customers who came to it. Triartisan didn't see a beloved restaurant. They saw a balance sheet with real estate leverage potential, a brand with name recognition that could be monetized through franchising, a labor force that could be reduced to minimum viable coverage before the customers noticed. They were wrong about the last part. The customers noticed immediately. They just didn't have a word for what they were seeing until the bankruptcy filing gave them one. When Ray Blanchett, the returning chief executive, sat down in January 2025 and talked about accelerating growth and resonating with the next generation at 79 restaurants down from 600, he was describing a destination that doesn't exist anymore from a building that used to be the destination. Here's what's true. A regular in Omaha drove to her TGI Fridays on a Friday night in February 2024 and found a paper sign on the door. She had eaten there every other Friday for 11 years. The sign thanked her for her patronage. Nobody called, nobody emailed. The sign was the goodbye. She posted about it on Facebook. 47 people from her town responded. All of them had the same story. Different Fridays, same paper sign, same Friday night, same silence. 12 chains. The number doesn't matter, the pattern does. The customers didn't organize a boycott. They organized something worse, a permanent, silent, individual decision made by millions of people simultaneously who had simply seen enough. That's the whole list. And that gap between the chains that answer to customers and the ones that answer to private equity is the only thing you need to understand about American casual dining right now. You now know something most people walking into these parking lots tonight don't know. That's not a small thing. They counted on you to keep showing up. You stopped. Pay attention to that. They already are. Which chain on this list lost you first? Drop the name in the comments. I read everyone. Subscribe. The next list is already in our research folder, and what we found in it makes every chain in this video look like the warning label. Click it.